So I want to hopefully narrow down and convince you where, people should direct their energies towards helping the world. Like you probably know, if we do not pursue the root cause of a problem in an attempt to solve it, the solution might never come, or it's going to come way, way too longer than is necessary. So in this podcast, I will try to narrow down why the solution is freedom. And hopefully that will be convincing enough. But just a forewarning, I will be a little explicit, not anything sexual, just words like rape, stealing, comparisons with rape. So if you're not comfortable, I urge you to really consider going forward. Now, so what is this comparison? I want to compare when people say they need government to do things. Because they are afraid that the alternative is worse. So what happens when we don't have government today? There are people that genuinely fear that the alternative is worse. That is a good point. I don't agree with it, but it's a good and valid point. I am 100% sure if there's no government today, some people will group and try to hurt some other group. You know why? Because of irrationality. Because of irrationality. The world, although getting better, is mostly comprised of irrationality. I'm not saying I'm not irrational sometimes, but I'm working on it, trying to not be, so inform others. For example, the world is almost divided into tribes. All these groupings are not necessarily rational. There's nothing wrong with it, though. You can be as irrational or as rational as you want, for as long as you don't force others into doing whatever it is that you choose. That is the bad thing. That is what freedom is. You can go and be stupid, the wisest person, the most intelligent person, belong to any group. Just don't hurt anybody. That is it. Don't hurt, don't steal, don't violate other people's freedom. Stealing, hurting people, killing people, all of this. That is what is wrong with, that is what the irrationality comes. Because belonging in these social institutions, people feel strongly about it, that they become irrational. That is what we need to avoid. And because all of these aren't irrational groupings, they are groupings based on emotions, like sentimental stuff, things we attach value So like you'll be attached to, anytime you see your flag, you'll be attached to it, or anytime you hear your country music, those are things that resonate with you emotionally. But it's not necessarily that your song or your culture is better than everybody's culture, right? So we are grouped into, basically, mostly people associate with this irrational concept. So that's what I mean when I mean people. Our world is full of irrationalities. Concepts like that, like culture, government, some social institutions, that are all irrational things. And so most of our lives, we've grown really irrational. Just attachment to family, just because they are family. Things like that. Those are not irrational things, right? So yeah, someone will attack someone. People will group into these irrational things and they may attack others. Just like we're doing now, even under government. We group ourselves into irrational concepts like government and we attack others. Whether or not it's going to be worse, I'm not sure. So, my point is, people fear government, the lack of government will be worse. Okay. So that's what I'm going to compare. So when people think like this, when people say this is what the translation is. I'm raping someone. I'm being raped. Either way, I'm being raped or raping someone 100 times a year, for example. Versus, I fear. So I have a master that rapes me 100 times a year. But they feed me, they school me, they do nice things to me, but they rape me. And I can't really resist that being raped. Versus without that master protecting me, I project that I might be raped 1,000 times without that master. So that's what people are saying. That's what the literal translation is, because government is rape. What is rape? Rape is not consensual intercourse or anything related to sex. What is government? Government is non-consensual belonging. Taxation is not consensual. Some don't agree, some agree, but it doesn't matter. You are bound to that, whether you agree or not. So at the moral level, there's no difference between government and rape. They both are non-consensual things that happens, actions. So, I would rather be raped, be allowed to rape 100 times than fear that someone will rape me 1,000 times a year. So that's what that's what the translation is when people say that. So that means if we really do care about the solution, what we need to do is to tackle whatever system you choose, whether you intend to do without the master, or you want to be within your master, in the protection of your master. They both, rape will happen. Rape will happen, for sure. So whatever situation you want or you choose or you want to be in, what this means is the solution is try to tackle the root of why the raping is occurring. Not increasing the rape. So not increasing government. But try to say, okay, I prefer to be raped 100 times than maybe I could be raped 1,000 times without this master. So now, while I'm in this kind of really bizarre, unfortunate situation that I put myself, what do I do to resist rape? While I'm in that situation, what do I do? What do I do to reduce all this raping in the world? Well, we'll go to the root, irrationality, which is we need to teach people the supremacy of the individual. The supremacy of the individual. So whatever group you are involved in, yourself, your individuality is more important than any group. So I'm in a particular culture or tribe. I can marry whoever I like. The people around me should not ostracize me, should not, in terms of government, should not force me not to. I should marry whoever I like. Associate with whoever I like. People should be able to recognize that is okay. And in order to propagate that kind of thing, we need to start teaching people rational things when they are growing up. Being rational, talking, conflict resolution, no beating, absence of force, no beating, talking, no beating, talking. Rational reason, evidence. So really imagine if you are in this situation. You are being raped, and I'm sorry for this analogy, just bear with me. You are being raped 100 times. But you fear without your master, you could be raped 1,000 times. So you decided to stay with your master, right? Okay? It's understandable. So what you need to be doing is to try to stop your master from raping you. Not increasing the rape. Well, how do people increase rape? Government, they tell government to do things for them. Continually increasing what government does. So we need to stop going towards that direction. We need to reduce it instead. Well, how do we do it? The biggest impact that we could have is to help people grow up rational. I don't know what that form will be, but in my own little way, what I intend to do, for example, this podcast, 1, 2, helping people get business, get jobs. The more people are brought into the concept of business, the more it is they recognize the importance of the individual. So help people, help organizations that help children grow rationally. And for me, that's what I would do. Like podcast, I'm going to be involved in business, and like I am already help people start their own business or continue, or help people think rationally. Not that I'm good at it. So that's one of the ways that we could impact the world most. So that's hopefully that makes sense. Before I go in summary, what I'm trying to say is, right now, with or without government, the world is irrational. Whichever option we like, we want. It doesn't matter. The world is still rational. Things are going to continue to happen. The killings, the bombings, the just irrational things will continue to happen. So that means government is really a symptom of the problem. We need to concentrate on dealing with the root cause. And a lot of people are doing that. By listening to this podcast, you are already doing that. And thank you. You could carry your phone, start recording, and push it out for people to hear. That's basically what I do. Take my phone record. I don't even edit it. Literally. The way I record, that's how you hear it. Now, I might have edited one. That was because that's a breakage. There was a long silence, so I edited it. That was it. Almost 100 podcasts, non-edited. In any significant manner. So there are many, many ways we could do that. If you enjoy this, please pass the message along. Help me with reviews. If you're listening to this on iOS, help me go to iTunes, podcast, Apple Podcasts, find Nigeria Freedom Radio, rate it, if you want others to hear this message. Otherwise, I really appreciate you listening, and I might talk to you soon. Bye-bye.